to Hawthorne Manor. Alright, so here is the latest creation. It's a fireplace for my parlor in the manor room. See, it's kind of dingied up a little bit. And you can see from the soot we've had a fire in there. Yeah, not really, it's made out of styrofoam. Alright, so this is going to be placed underneath the unliving portrait. I already have it in the wall. If you haven't ever seen this before, I have it on a hinge, and there's a small television tucked away on the inside. Alright, let's see how we made it. Oh yeah, by the way, that's Kool-Aid. Okay, so I have a dry fit put together here. I haven't glued it together yet, and this will be assembled using simple glue and coarse drywall screws. You can see here I'm going to put it below the unliving portrait, and that white is going to be an extension of the fireplace. Now you can probably see the lines that I've already drawn. That's going to be where I'm going to carve out the stonework. And the stonework will only go up to this point. We're going to stop it here. This will all be white. So let me give you some dimensions. The sides here are 7 inches. It's 10 inches deep. And if you watch enough of my videos, you know I build everything 40 inches wide because it fits up in the attic. That top piece here is 10 inches. This top piece is 13 inches, and I used 1-inch foam on that one. The rest of it is 3/4 inch foam. And the bottom piece is 1-inch foam. Alright, so it's time to carve out some stone. Okay, so here I'm working on the stonework. This is going to be for the inside of the fireplace. Now, I have this Dremel tool that I use to kind of route out a little of the stock, or you can use a simple X-Acto knife. That's very easy to do. And I rough up the grout, or excuse me, the mortar joints with a screwdriver. It gives it a little bit of a rough look. Now, next thing I'm going to do is spray a little bit of water on this, and then hit it with a heat gun, and that'll give it a nice textured stone look. Yeah, you can see I've got a little bit of water on there, and so what I want to do is hit it with the heat gun just a little bit. First I'm going to go through the mortar lines, kind of opens them up a little bit. Yeah, don't want to stay in one place too long. The styrofoam melts real fast. Hit those center lines. See, that opens it up real nice. Now I'm going to kind of hit the stone a little bit, and it's going to give it a little bit of a texture. The water kind of helps out. Kind of gives it an uneven look. Alright. Heat gun, good. Okay, so the firebox is all carved out, all the stonework. So now we're going to start paint. So step one, I use an off-white to fill in the mortar lines. The next step is to put on your base coat. Now the important thing here is that you cover all of the color of the foam board, whether it's pink or blue. At this point you can't have any of the board showing through. For this I use a latex paint, and I use the cheapest paint that Home Depot has. I think this was only about $10 a gallon. And let's see, it's the color is Sherwin-Williams 7052, and I think that is gray area is what it's called. Alright, I'm going to show you a really super cool technique for getting a realistic stone finish. Now, you have the base coat down. At this point, you're going to need a good quality paint so that you're going to have good coverage. Again, I always use latex paint. I've got these sample sizes from Home Depot. My two colors are going to be Night Owl. It's kind of a greenish color. And then the other color is Suitable Brown. These are both Sherwin-Williams, number 7061 and 7054. So what we're going to do is use a sponge technique. Get a little bit in there and just start randomly and generously applying them to stones. And you want kind of a random look, and at this point it really doesn't have to look neat. I'm going to do this really quick. I'm just going to apply some there, make sure that it's all covered. That is each stone. Now I'm also going to leave a couple of them the base gray color. Now let's go in and add some of the Suitable Brown. Get on there pretty good. I always say that if you're thinking about this a lot at this point, you're probably doing it wrong. Just go with it. You know, make it look really random. Okay, so that in itself looks okay. Let's make it look really good. I'm going to go back to the base color. While this is all still wet, I'm going to take a little bit. Put it on the side of the sponge. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of blend all these together. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the texture stand out a lot more. Give it a bit of depth. Just a little bit more here. Again, don't think about it, just do. And guess what? It's done. Alright, so I'm going to add some decorative features to the fireplace. And my philosophy is this. Look, if you can add a little bit of detail, it's going to make things more realistic. So these pieces here, I bought at Lowe's. I simply glued them into place. I used my Dremel to cut out these fluted edges. That's a 1/4 inch piece of foam and a leftover 1 inch piece of foam. I rounded the edges and just cut a little decorative area in it there. So this is going to go on to the front of the fireplace. Okay, so I have these decorative pieces, and before I give them a final coat of paint, I want to bring out the detail a little bit more. Instead of using a black, I like to use this automobile primer. It's kind of a really dark gray. Remember, always do this in a well-ventilated area. So I'm going to add this to the detail, and then I'm going to go back through and give it another coat of paint. And that's going to let the detail really, really shine through on this project. Okay, well, another dash. Okay. You want to get these all into all the cracks and crevices. That's what I'm trying to do. Alright, we'll hit that with another coat of white paint. This last coat here is going to be just a light dusting. And I want to leave some of that black paint so that the detail can shine through. So I'm going to use a dry brush technique. Put a little paint on, rub a little off, and then just hit it lightly, real light. And deep down in all the cracks of the design, you'll still see the black paint. You can tell that we live in the approach to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. There's the airplanes in the background. Alright, so I do have some brush marks here still, but you know, I'm good with that. It still looks kind of rough. And I'm just going to keep on working this until I get that final look that I want. And as you can see, that design really stands out nicely. That way in the dark, your guests can see the detail that you've put all that work into. So, I'm just going to keep on working these, and we'll see how they turn out. Alright, so there we go. And before I say what I say, Mrs. Haunted House likes it.
Can I say it? On to the next thing.